crazy and tiring, and it's what's so funny is like, you know, when we started this thing, I was saying to David, you know, when we started this thing, you know, it's the pilot and it's all this excitement and stuff, and then you go to work, and you know, I've never done anything. I've played lead roles in plays. I think that's what stood me in good stead. Is like when I was 22, I left drama school. I went straight to the Royal Shakespeare Company and I played a huge fuck off lead role. And I think that like it's a very different medium. It's a very different discipline, and you have to have a completely different kind of regime to kind of to sustain things. But I think that it ultimately has my theatre background mainly roles has stood me in good stead. The one thing is like the pace at which it goes. It's, you know, it's liberating because you don't. Sometimes as an actor, you know, you can get up in your head. You know, was this good? Was that good? You don't have time. You're just like gone next. You know, and you just have to keep on moving forward and keep on being. It's good because it forces you to be in the moment. Do you know what I mean? Rather than having too much space around something where you can get up in your head. But it's a journey, man. It's a journey. I feel like, you know, we're on episode 9 now. We start episode 10 next week. And I just feel like from when we started, like, it's been a hell of a ride. And we're really in a, I think we're really in a good place with it now. A lot of things have come together.
And how are you making John, this version of John, your own?
I don't know. Just by bringing myself to it, I suppose. I mean, I had kind of lots of thoughts about it, you know, early on in the process, and kind of what I wanted to do with it, and my research, and you know, all kind of the prep work I would do, and then you go into production, and that prep work has hopefully been bedded in, and then you do it. You go on this ride. I feel like the character has deepened a lot. I feel like you know, I've got to know him a lot more, and yeah, I think just by, it's a funny thing, isn't it? It's like in theatre, you know, how many people play Hamlet? It's
right.
Like, well, what's different about your Hamlet? Well, you.
It's you.
It's you. I think that's the main thing. Because the one thing I tried to do is just keep on going back to the comics. Do you know what I mean? Just even if it's just to, I'm not thinking about like, oh, I need to put this into it or put that into it, but just to read it, so it's always kind of subliminally going on in my mind. You know, it's always something that's taking over. I mean, and it's hard because it's so we're working so many hours that, you know, you get home and then, you know, you want to stick a scary movie on to kind of, you know, do a bit of research or read a comic, and then, you know, you start shitting yourself when you see shadows walking past the door, and you're like, this is not. But no, it's but yeah. So I try to keep kind of that going on in the background, so that everything that I'm doing is tied to the DNA of that. And you know, it's me. It's there's other bits that come and other bits that go, but the source is that, and that's what I'm trying to kind of keep true.
The one thing I loved about Constantine, and also hated about him, is his extreme selfishness, yet also his desire to save others. Is that what attracted you to the role?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's many roles out there that have that kind of diversity, you know, that someone who's an utter bastard and you love and hate at the same time, you know. Like most of his, it's hard because in the comics he's a complete and utter bastard, and it's like for TV you can't just do that, because, you know, okay, the hardcore fans will love him, but there's a whole other people that you want to bring into this, and in the medium of TV there has to be qualities about this character that draw him in. So there's certain elements of the character that I tried to lift earlier on, and then I think that as we've gone on, he's getting darker. He's getting darker, and even though he starts out in such a dark place, I think that he's going to get darker and darker, and it's going to get more fun in that way. But I think like it's so much. It's great to be able to play, you know, the really dark shit, and then just, you know, flip a bird. You know what I mean? It's like, and you know, I think it's fun. It's fun. It's such a fun role in that way. And sometimes I have to stop myself from having too much fun because it is a lot of fun.
Well, speaking of the prep work that you're talking about, were there particular story arcs, parts that held those your comic that informed how you're playing Constantine?
Because after I got the job, we had 2.5 weeks before we started the pilot. So David and Daniel and a bunch of the DC guys sent me a bunch of comics that they thought would be relevant for the pilot, or the, you know. So I've been jumping around the place, and they're kind of all just a jumble now in my head, and I haven't read them all yet. But like the Dangerous Habits storyline, and I mean that's so far away from where we are now because we're starting pretty much where the comic books start. So, you know, we've got a long way to go to get there. If we get there, if we go there, you know, which I'd love to. That's my favorite.
Sorry. One of John's trademarks is, of course, that he's a smoker in the comics, and clearly you can't do that on NBC. So.
We are. We're doing it.
Are you doing it?
Yeah.
He doesn't smoke. He just holds it in his hand.
Like we, you know, you've seen the Blacklist. James Spade is, you know, chuffing on a cigar.
Right.
It's like we're doing that. It's just that what we're not doing, you can't inhale.
Right.
That's the thing. And the one thing that I've done is I've first of all, when it was announced that we weren't smoking, it was like we are, but we're just not. We're not like in the comics. In every panel, he's got a cigarette in his mouth. I mean, it's like we can't do that. But like, so I kind of see it as a challenge that every episode, it's like, okay, where can we put it in? How do we get it in? So it's like it's something to kind of look out for.
So you game of chess.
Yeah, exactly. It's like something to look out for rather than. There's two ways of approaching it. I thought I can either be pissed off because this character's a smoker and he has to be a smoker to me, and I can either be pissed off by going, shit, we can't do it fully the way we want to do it, or challenge, and that's kind of how I've approached it, and we are doing it, we're just not doing it in every close-up.
What about the other version of Constantine, like the younger one or the demon one?
The what, sorry?
Other version of Constantine.
Oh, in the pilot?
Go for the younger one, or maybe the future, the demon, the leader.
Oh, in terms of the comic books, yeah. The New 52 or the Hellblazer. It's interesting because like we're pretty much basing it from the Hellblazer stuff, and I've read a couple about four of the New 52. I mean, there's stuff to take from it. I think that like in terms of production, there's good stuff. The way it looks, you know, there's stuff to take from there. But we're pretty much going with the Hellblazer stuff. You know. It's a mixed match of this world that was created by Alan Moore, you know, and it's like, you know, there's so much of it, you know, you just take as much as you can and try and play.
Did you learn any magic tricks or just rely on CGI?
I wanted to like learn card tricks and stuff, and like, do you know these things that people do with the balls? I learned and then they disappear. I wanted to learn that, but I just don't have time. Maybe if we go to the second series in my hiatus, I'll go to magic school. But no, I haven't actually had the time to actually do it for real.
Sorry guys, we gotta go. Thank you.